extraordinaire, the gemologist.
Hey everyone, and welcome to the Geomologist Presents. I guess I wanted to try to do things a little different going forward. I have like a backlog of products that are just sitting in boxes or wrapped up that I want to get to and open, but I don't want to do like a giant unboxing episode. And I think I would like to maybe do a shorter kind of once a week and have bi-weekly podcasts, but once a week, one of the podcasts will be to open one of these products and dive into it. And I think to start, I'm going to do that. I'm going to discuss Warlock number 35. And I get this as part of being a Patreon of Kobold Press. So I'm at the $7 level with Kobold Press. And with that $7 level, I get occasional patron-only call for requests, a print booklet of Warlock, and digital posters and wallpapers, other elements from the $1 to $5 tiers, which include like a PDF adventure here and there as well as the Warlock magazine or zine. So if there's an $11 and a $23 one, and the $23 one the $11 one, I don't see the difference actually. But in the $23 one, there is an annual Warlock Grimoire, which puts all the grimoires from the past 12 months together, and an occasional guidebook. So that might be something to look into. But right now, I just do the $7, and I love it. I love that I get like a little zine, and this month's zine is called Priesthood. It's Warlock number 35. There are 3 articles within it. They are called The Deep Divine Masks of the Priesthood by Tim Hitchcock, Servants of the Gods, Faith in the Crossroads by Sebastian Rombach, and Divine Interventions, Rewards of the Faithful by Rajan Khanna. So this is very interesting. We talked about this in the Cerebrivore episode from April 15th. Myself and the other panelists, BJ Boyd, I believe, was there, Arlen Walker, I think Joe Richter, and Jason Connerly, of the various podcasts that I know you all listen to. But in Cerebrivore, we talked about deities and religion in your tabletop RPG games. And one thing I did bring up that I loved about Kobold Press's Midgard setting is the aspects of masks. And in the masks, what they are is like, there's different manifestations of a deity that exist in the world. So within the game world, while priesthoods might accept that a deity could possess alternate manifestations, I'm reading this from the article by Tim Hitchcock, the idea of a divine mask is a little more than a fringe topic in theological discourse, but that doesn't mean that characters can't explore the deep mysteries of their faith, bringing them perhaps to even unknowingly the doorstep of one of their deities' masks. So the thing is, gods exist differently, and they give you rules on how to have a divine mask, and there are various gods, and I'll give you an example in here. There's a spell imbued divine masks. They talk about masks in your game. So in a way, it's a way for you to have mechanically 2 different deities, although they are the same deity but exist in different aspects. And mechanically, what that does is it gives you access to 2 domains, 2 primary domains. You just switch them. You cannot have them at the same time, but you switch them. Now there's a table for reasons why you might assume a mask. I think the one that's the most interesting is the worship of your deity is shunned or despised by the dominant culture, and you assume the divine mask to covertly continue your services to the priesthood and other followers of your faith. So there could be a clandestine reason for that. There's a random table of 6 different reasons, but you can choose, of course. There's unintended consequences if you do this mask thing, and they give you like what I think is great. They give you sample masked priesthoods of Midgard. So I think one of the most interesting ones, there's 3. They do the Goat of the Woods, Hecate, and Loki. So Loki, what's very interesting, Loki is a great deity here in the article to use to build a masked priesthood. As a trickster god, he changes his appearance, never manifesting as expected. So it totally works with the mask idea. But there are different gods that he can portray, or the mask can portray. The player playing the priest of Loki can perhaps be his aspect as Baal, Turnabog, Sarastra, Thoth Hermes, or Veles. Veles might be the most interesting because Veles is a Midgard serpent. So as you know in Norse mythology, that there is a relationship between Loki and the Midgard serpent. So I think it's a very cool article. It's something that I would really encourage and try to get faith back into your game in 5e. But you could really adapt this, I think, to any game. Just taking that idea of masks and that there's a single entity, though it is represented in your world as different deities by the faithful. So I think, and then you can have this changing in aspects. So you could go from, for example, while they talk about Loki having the trickery domain, you could attune with Chernobog to the apocalypse domain, or to Sarastra, who's a goddess of the shadow, fae, and illusion, to travel, right? So you could switch around your domains as your secondary domain during that aspect. So the next article is the Servants to the Gods, Faith in the Crossroads, and I thought was really neat. They talk about polytheism in Midgard. There's a little sort of short mini article within the article about polytheism in Midgard. Talk about hard polytheism, which is defined by a solid belief that each deity is separate and distinct. But then soft polytheism is somewhat easygoing. Individuals who practice this type of faith believe that the divine beings fill a more archetypal role in accordance with their moral conditions or beliefs rather than rigid definitions. So I think it's a pretty interesting way of looking at religion and maybe incorporating it more into your game by having both those ideas of the hard polytheism, where very typical traditional D&D type games, but a soft polytheism where maybe the person is skeptical about the gods and could be a bit agnostic, but sees things happen and miracles happen in the world, and so maybe all these gods exist, but do I worship them? If they do something for me, right? So then they talk about religions in the crossroads, and then what I thought is kind of neat game-wise is they introduce something called the clergy of the Carafor faith, so like a cabal of clergy of allied clergies that make sure that they all keep to the same, I don't know if it's ideals, but they make sure that their clergy don't step on other clergy and act within, I guess, the laws of the land, which is interesting. For that, they have a new divine domain called the Oath Domain. Then they have a new order of paladins, Order of the Embroidered Waves, and they have a new Oath of Tides for that, which looks pretty interesting. New different spells, different ways to channel divinity, etc. Then they have something called Servants of the Storm Lords and a Thunderbolt Monastery, so they add another monastic tradition, Way of the Storm. And then at the end of the article, a few different new rites spells, so Bless Feast, Excel Spirits, and then they give like a list of different holy orders for the different faiths of the crossroads. So it's pretty cool. They do have a Sanctify Land ritual as well, which is good. Then lastly, the article has divine interventions, rewards for the faithful. So this one has, kind of takes the faithful or different gods and goddesses and has like magic items or blessings that they can give you. So blessings are generally used limited use powers and abilities the god grants. Magic items, of course, self-explanatory, than spells that the gods may have. So they have Bastet. Let me look at some of these magical items. Let's see. A Conjure Cat spell from Bastet for you cat lovers. Kors, their worship is in decline, but they have blessings like radiant weapons. Loki has some. Loki's Ear Serpent, a blessing. As a bonus action, you can sing a simple melody or speak a simple phrase that works its way into the ears of a nearby creature, enabling you to affect its mind. Interesting. Very much like Loki whispering into your ear. So pretty interesting. There's other, Nakresh, of course, with Nakresh being a dark god, monkey familiar, the gloves of Nakresh, help you to maybe steal things sort of without people realizing. Wall of Hands, and of course Ninkash, maybe my favorite magic item here in the book, the Bottomless Tankard. While beer is meant to be consumed and not kept for long periods of time, this tankard allows you to store multiple varieties of beer and other liquids. 5 magical runes inscribed upon the tankard. If you pour liquid into the tankard and press one of the runes, it's transported to an extra dimensional space, and then you can drink it over and over again. Toast of the Goddess. When you cast a spell, you create 6 full tankards of beer or ale. I love it. Ninkash is one of my favorite. Goddess is the goddess of beer that exists in the Midgard world. So it's a pretty cool zine. They really have nice art throughout. It's a black and white art. The covers are fascinating. Black and white line drawings, always very, very nice, very high quality. And it's a zine. It's only 27 pages. The last page being the OGL, but yeah, I really enjoy this. Hey, I know at Dragon's Lair I bought, since I'm not a patron that gets the grimoire, I did buy the annual grimoire at Dragon's Lair within the last few months. So look at your gaming store and see if they might have the Warlock grimoire. It's definitely a lot of neat tidbits, specifically for Midgard and 5e, but I know you savvy GMs out there can make it your own and use it for your own world. Well, that's it. I'm just gonna leave it at that, and that's, I guess, I don't know what I want to call it. If I put out on Mondays, I want to say Manic Mondays, but that's a Bangle song. Magazine Mondays, but that doesn't really encompass all the types of printed material that I could talk about. So I'm soliciting names for this segment or this type of extra podcast. Yes, I know I'm inspired by Jason Connerly. Thank you, because he's doing like reviews that come out on Sundays of various products. But I think this is a way to help me go through my products in detail of things that I've been getting recently. So there you go. It's kind of like an unboxing, but not an unboxing, because I talk in a little detail about the product. I hope you enjoy. I hope you take inspiration. Hey, you can also get these. I know for sure. If you like PDFs, you can definitely get these Warlocks for PDF in PDF from the Kobold Press website, and I'll probably put the link in the show notes to their Patreon, and to the Kobold Press website. All right, thank you so much, and I'll talk to you soon.